So I guess like I looked at the unit, I was like, should I even go into this? But what I did was I sat at the kopitiam for like a few weeks, like just sitting down, and I see how people interacted in Thomson. It was so nice. Everybody was so nice and friendly. Constant like regulars, because everybody, the retirees are there, sit down, chit chat. There's like the youngsters that go to yoga, Pilates. So after a while, I was like, okay, let's see how it goes. Got the unit. And I was like, I'm going to open a kueh shop here at the basement 3. So I talked to every single auntie and every single uncle. I sat down, have a nice chat with them, drink kopi and tea. I asked them, how's the area here? You think it's nice or not? I think that when they have regulars, it helped. For the initial phase, we have a new neighbor that opened up. She has like 5 to 6 seats. And then on my end, I have 5 seats also. So we share our seats around. So we actually try to encourage customers just, hey, you can sit down here, but please walk along the alley and get something else from our neighbors. Like, we are happy to share our seats and share our customers because it's a whole community here.
Welcome back to TFC Business Show. I'm your host Reggie, aka your Chief Financial Coconut, and today we have an interesting guest. Why interesting? Because never in my mind I was thinking of doing something like that. But recently I went on a little hike, with a friend of mine to visit our old studio. So long time ago, we had a studio space at Upper Thomson. If you see the set change multiple times, 2 sets before we were at Upper Thomson. Yeah, and it's this like old building that is don't really have footfall, and there's nothing going on there. That's why rent was cheap and we were there, right? So that was the plan. And then recently we went there and then we saw this Ahmahslegacy, a banner outside the building at B3. I was like, B3? Who goes to B3, right? So we decided we will go all the way down to B3 to see what is going on, right? And we found this cute little shop there selling Kueh, selling oni, those like very Ahmah type of stuff, right? And so I just had to ask the founder to come on the show. So I'm very glad to be in studio with Shiny.
Hi.
Is that a fair description?
Yes.
It is, right?
You are right.
Yeah. Nobody goes there. There's no footfall.
Yep. If you know, kind of place.
If you know type of place.
Yep.
Thomson V2. Thomson V2, you can go and support them.
Yes.
But yes, tell me, like why were you up there? What were you doing? Hey, it's B3, for all of you that have never been there, it's like below, the escalator doesn't even work. You gotta walk down.
Yep. Yep. It's a journey.
Tell me. Okay, maybe for our audience that don't know you, do a quick introduction.
Okay, my name is Shiny. I'm from Ahmahslegacy. I'm the founder and maker, Saikang Warrior. Everything.
Everything.
I've been doing this for almost 5 years.
Wow.
So, but the physical shop all the way at the Niao Pusantan, Thomson V2 is about 1.5 years.
Okay, maybe just to lay a bit more context, right? For our audience that don't know Ahmahslegacy yet, like what's the business, what do y'all do and all that, then tell me a little bit about this Niao Pusantan space at Thomson V2.
So for Ahmahslegacy, I started this as a school project back when I was in LaSalle. And it was...
LaSalle, a lot of cool kids, huh? Right? Yeah. Shout out to Dylan. Yeah.
So I did a research on how there was quite a loss of appreciation for traditional foods for Singaporeans as well as the younger generations, especially Gen Zs. And mainly because I grew up with my grandma and I basically eat whatever she ate. We all focused on whatever she wanted to eat. So I ate whatever she made, and that was my childhood. And it was surprising to me that a lot of my peers, even people who are millennials, don't even eat the same food as me, or they would be like, oh, I never eat this before. And I'm like, what? So that's why I went into this deep dive of, the research, and then out came Ahmahslegacy. It was a school project at first. The logo was terrible. It was rush job.
From LaSalle.
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah. We're all students.
Call me back. Okay, so then, lockdown happened and I was like, okay, let's just take this opportunity to practice my photography, do some shots, post it out, just see how, YOLO. And then it became a weekly thing for 2 years. It was fun because I I got a little bit of ADHD, so it was great to like focus on multiple things at one go. I decided after 2 years working a full-time job and doing this on the weekends, I was like, okay, if I already did this for 2 years part-time, I think I should try and focus my energy and see what I can achieve if I were to do 100%. And that's where I moved out from home-based biz, started this 100%. And then I started my physical shop 1 year after I rented a random shop just to try making it on my own first. Because there's no like cookie cutter way of doing it. So it was really just exploration on just figuring things out on my own. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe my first question would be, at the point in time when you had a full-time job and doing Ahmahslegacy on the side, there must be a reason why you decided to convert to like full-time, right? That means business must be at some level, right? It was popular in some ways, right?
I think I should have started at the start already, like full-time. But then, because that's when I had quite a bit of media coverage very luckily, from 8 days. And then I had quite a few social media like presence. So I felt that at that point of time, I should have just full-time already. But then my parents wanted me to do a full-time job. You know, they said they cannot be slacking right after you graduate. What the hell? So, so that's why I decided to, I get a full-time job. And it's not that business became better. I mean, it was steady. There were like regulars and everything. But I think that because I could feel myself like slowly having a little burnout, in a sense that I was focusing on my full-time and focusing on this. And it was a divide because both the full-time and my little business required the same amount of skill sets. It's not like it's completely opposites. If it's completely opposite, I think it would be more fun. But it was like the same thing over and over again. So that's why I was like, okay, I think I want to achieve something. And this is, nothing like the 20s to just whack everything that you can.
I think that's a fair statement,
Yeah.
If you ask me, in your 30s, it gets harder. In your 40s, it gets even harder. Not by virtue of ability to understand things. Of course, as we grow older and we understand how things work, that is an advantage. But time, energy, commitment, all these things
and
wear
the
you down.
willingness to learn and exposure. I feel like that's one thing, because at the point of time when I started, there wasn't all the AI tech stuff, and then having to like research about it and everything is like really, I mean, it's fun.
Okay, fair. So for you, when you first started, this was a home-based business. Your customers will reach you through like Instagram, how was that business set up like in the original days?
At the start, because it was a smaller scale, so we did the most cheapest item, which is Google Forms. Have a whole like Excel sheet, then because we did delivery, because it's COVID period, then we had like a postal code. If we have this like first 2 numbers or first 3 numbers is this, then it kind of like can color code. Then we could do the delivery schedules accordingly. Because I did the delivery also, like just full house deployment.
Maybe that's why your mom asked you to do a full-time job. At the back, mommy 不要做了, right?
No, I mean, like, I think she enjoyed, because she didn't get to explore outside of Singapore. Within Singapore, we always go to the same few spaces all the time. They are like culture of like habit, always going around Ang-Mo-Kio, Yio Chu Kang area kind. When I get her to explore different places, she's like, oh, I didn't know that there's this condo here. The parking very complicated leh. This kind of thing. So she had a lot of fun. I found it very fun. And I think afterwards, I felt that it was very hard to manage the orders, especially like order receipts and everything. It was so manual with like WhatsApping, everything. After like 1 year using Wix, I changed to Equid, another site, saw the feedback. I was like, hey, maybe I should port over to this website. Yeah.
And you no longer do the delivery, right? You outsource the thing to a delivery partner?
Depends. Like we do outsource to like Lalamove for this. They do it like point to point. They're very fast and very good. But sometimes like when it's, when we are unable to get any matches with the delivery drivers, and if it's close enough, I mean, I will just do it.
Yeah. Okay. But your clients are willing to pay. So what is the kind of like average ticket size that they will buy, just so that our audience get better understanding?
I think there are people who are first time orders, and they are very willing to try, and they will normally get from like $50 to $60 worth. And that's like quite a lot of Uncle Grace. And we have some certain online deals also. But I would say that most ticket ranges from like 20 something to $60. Sometimes you'll get customers that are getting for a special event, and that will range from 100 and above. And of course, customized orders will be a bit more pricey on that one.
Okay, fair. So 20 to 60 is kind of where it is, right? And then people will pay the delivery fee on top of that lah.
I think people feel that it's more worth it when you have a bigger ticket size and your delivery ticket is like a small percent.
Yeah, I get it. Which also means that you're foregoing the small tickets.
Yes.
Right? By virtue of it. And you're not on board any like intermediary system like Grab
they take out too much like percentage of it already.
Can you share?
I mean, from what I know, because I feel like after I see the percentage, I kind of like just throw it off my radar already. I don't care. But I think they do a 25 to 30%. And then plus if you pay by card, then there's another percentage taken off. So that's why if you ever take a look at your Grab, what people list out is normally inclusive of that 30%. That's why it's a lot more expensive versus like if you buy in stores. So we kind of encourage our customers to come to the store instead to pick up or just sit down and just order on the spot instead, because you save a lot more money. And plus, when we have our tables and chairs outside, it's kind of cozy, it's kind of nice, there's music, we have tea.
Okay, fair. Like before we get to the shop and the retail front, I also want to understand a little bit on the product development side, right? You probably develop your product over time, more and more. How do you go about doing that? You know, how do you iterate your product line? Have you retired any products? You know, just give me a bit color on that front.
So I think that we started off with just 2 flavors for our Kuehs, peanut and coconut. Simple things, standard. You can't go wrong. We love coconut, coconut gula melaka and peanut. And those were ongoing for a very long time. And I would say that for every like new flavors that I added in, it's always like an idea that I kind of push through first. And then afterwards, there's like feedback from customers. And then we will make it better. Both either in flavor or in the production sense, whereby we make it easier for us to handle the items. So there's quite a lot of like R&D that needs to be done for each item. I mean, even my black sesame Angku Kueh, that one, I think has went through like 3 to 4 different iterations before we even ended up with the one that is the best seller now.
So then what made you end up in this shop space and all that? Because there was an interim, right? You were home based, then you moved out and then you ended up there. Maybe give us a bit color there.
So the interim between like the home base and my current shop now was this small little cozy shop at Kovan. It was because I was just helping my friend out with their rental. They were not doing very well. So I was like, okay, since I kind of need to try to scale up to see how is it like working in the kitchen, and you kind of not doing what you're doing right now, can I just take over for a short period of time? So there wasn't any logo on my door, anything. I was just figuring out, and of course I was doing events instead, since it's not gonna be at the shop. Unless we have to like rush for events, and like we only have like 1 or 2 people, right, to handle work. So yeah, it's either like you ask that part-timer or whatever to like chiong with you all the way to nighttime, or you just chiong yourself and you save money lah, right? So a lot of times it's I chiong myself. I come in at night, I leave at night. At that point of time, it was a very crucial process because I think that I learned a lot of how to like keep my items fresh, how to maximize capacity, and how do I streamline certain things, and at the point of time also I was thinking, how do I teach people how to make the kueh? Because if I were to scale up in the future, I may need to teach. Yeah, so in between that Kovan area was a time where I got into a networking group also, and then I was alone doing the business, right? So I was like, okay, why not just meet some business friends and then learn from everybody, And then it helped a lot because it built my networking skills. I didn't know how to do business networking, so it was very crucial in this journey. And I got an invitation from my friend. Shout out Fussy Foodie. He asked me, hey, we have there's this like dessert shop at Thomson and it's near our house. You want to go together or not? And I'm like, okay, sure. They are doing a collaboration, so I was just a +1 to go there. Yeah, I had a nice time talking to Chef Joseph from Tiramisu's, and he was like saying, hey, you do F&B, why not I take the unit over there lah? Yeah, so I guess like I looked at the unit, I was like, it seems big, it seems like nice, there's aircon, the aircon is cold, but it was kind of scary, like, should I even go into this? But what I did was I sat at the kopitiam for like a few weeks, like just sitting down, and I see how people interacted in Thomson. It was so nice. Everybody was so nice and friendly. Constant like regulars, because everybody like from the working crowd, they will go there and eat.
It's an old neighborhood. Yeah.
And then like, the retirees are there, sit down, chit chat. There's like the youngsters that go to yoga, Pilates, and then there are people who are going for sports. And there's such a good community-esque place there, with centered around food and activities. So after a while, I was like, okay, let's see how it goes. So I got the unit. And I was like, oh, I'm going to open a kueh shop here at the basement 3. So I talked to every single auntie and every single uncle. I sat down, have a nice chat with them, drink kopi and tea. Ask them, how's the area here? You think it's nice or not? Then, I basically like extrovert energy out, and I just talked to every single people and like asked them, oh, why you start this? I think that when they have regulars, it helped for the initial phase. Before we even had the banners out, we had a lot of like nice people who helped us out.
No, this is very interesting because I think for a lot of people that think of starting a small setup, any type of like experiential or like F&B type of thing at a weird place, right? They would think of social media first, right? Like let's build our social media, drive the traffic because there's no footfall, right? That's kind of how most people think, but you actually have a very different approach to it, right? You were essentially trying to like establish some sort of a relationship across in the area, right? And use them as like a core traffic to your shop. Would you say that, in retrospect, that is quite a smart move?
I think that it was good because like last year, I was still doing it alone. My mom helps me on the weekend. So it was good to rely on a certain kind of community. And I think that it helped because people trusted, like believed in me before they even believed in the product. They enjoyed my presence, and therefore they would just talk about the brand in relation to me.
Right, and that's the beauty of old school snacks for all of you tuning in, because some people will think like, oh, you want to do a cafe and all those kind of stuff, which I think is horrible. Don't do it.
Yes, terrible. Don't do
that's
it.
a terrible business.
Serious F&B is terrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. But it's also a lot to do with the ingredient cost. If you think about how our elders live, they live with whatever that they have. So actually, a lot of the things that the old people eat, right, the cost price is very low one. Right, so which also means if you kind of amp it up a little bit, you actually get a margin, in the product itself.
I
right?
think the important thing is that all these things, the cost is low, but the labor is high. And with labor costs going up, it will just inevitably push everything higher up. Because, hey, the tau sa pia could be cheap, right, with all the ingredients. But who's going to be the one that's kneading the dough?
Of course.
Who's the one that's making it? And the amount of hours that's required to like get the layers and everything is tiring.
Of course. But all the other guys that are doing all the international cuisine, both sides going up, labor costs going up, ingredient going up. More tao tiang lah. But
Yes,
I think that's
yes,
what I'm trying to say. There is some interesting element to this front, and I feel like a lot of Singapore businesses are not looking at it at a certain level lah. Tell me a little bit more about your business breakdown then. Okay, so you have a physical outlet, and there are some people that come in, but there are actually not a lot of seats, right? So
we do have.
Yeah, I mean you extend out, right?
Yeah,
I saw some pictures.
So we have like seats outside, and just nice now we have a new neighbor that opened up. She's a cottage. She has like 5 to 6 seats, and then on my end I have 5 seats also.
Yeah.
And then tiramisu side has about 6 seats.
Okay.
So we share our seats around the area. So we try to like
little basement thing
correct.
now.
So we actually try to encourage customers, just hey, you can sit down here, but please walk along the alley and get something else from our neighbors. Like we are happy to share our seats and share our customers because it's a whole community here.
It's true.
So a lot of people like paiseh want to eat at one seat, then walk to the next side and sit down. Then like, it's okay, just sit at your seat, it's fine, it's okay. We share our seats. And of course, there are some people that, depends on the day. Sometimes my side has more people, and then it scatters over to like both corners. And then sometimes tiramisu side has more items, like more people, and it scatters out to me also. So we have a good flow of people.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. Interesting. It's placemaking, right? Essentially, right? So, but your placemake amongst yourself, right? So that is what I've been trying to talk to some of the officials, right? Don't need to add a middle layer, let the people placemake themselves. But that's a different story, another time, okay? But I want to understand your business breakdown, right? So how many % is coming in from like your online store? How many % is coming in from your physical outlet? How many % are doing events? Because I know you're doing a big event, right? So just kind of give me a bit of color on that front.
Okay, maybe for last year statistics wise, we had a small % that's walk-ins, and then majority were online. As the business picked up, especially from Q3, Q4 last year, it started to flip. The orders from online became lesser. We still have online orders, pre-orders and stuff, but physical shop-wise, I feel like people like the experience, and people like want to just buy one and just eat on the spot, and then they will buy again and they get to try different flavors instead. So now the physical store garners got more percent than the online. I think it also, I would say it makes sense because we also did increase our price to match with all the, of course, the rising food prices and everything. And we didn't increase as much as for a long period of time. So that's why we had to have a slight jump. That's that. And then in the physical store, I try to train my staff as well as myself to just give a very good and warm experience, customer service lah.
Okay. And then for events, how big would that business be?
Events wise, actually, last year we tried to do an event every month because we wanted to gather more sales. So the events actually took up maybe if like monthly wise is about 30%.
30% of your wholesale.
Yes, 30 to 40%, depending on what's the dates and how many days are there. And because we also have to like take out the amount of like the money that we pay for rental. But certain events, like people who purchase already, it's not that we are selling on the spot kind. Those people who pre-order for a certain event, those are pretty big sometimes, depending on like, is it wedding orders or B2B, like certain items, like corporate. I think that those ran those helped us
everyone
a lot.
love the corporate guys, right? Yeah.
I think it's more like because they are thematic and they already budget the fees for that already. So it's a little bit more of like, I don't have to fight so hard to justify for the price. You already have the amount already that you already budget for food costs. It's just how I can work around your money, the amount that you have, which is a little bit easier for us. And I think that I enjoy a lot of the wedding orders because I think that it's very nice to see people's like big day, and of course the customization of like the Kueh according to their theme. So those are fun.
Okay, fair. So about 30% are events, then maybe 30-40% are online, 20-30% is like in-person store. More or less, that's kind of where it is, right?
Yeah.
And how many headcount do you have at this point? How big is the team?
I have one full-timer and I have one per se permanent part-timer, and then the other three of them are just like students.
Okay. That's quite a big team, for a small little shop.
I think it's just because I want to train up some of them. So I feel like nowadays you don't know how long people will stay. So I rather like, we had like back and forth part-timers that help us throughout the whole year and as well as the start of the year. And it's always like a 1 month in or 3-4 days in and bye. And it's like sian because you have to train them and then they're just gonna go off like that. I mean, to me, I rather like take care of the ones that I have right now and hopefully build something with them rather than to just have somebody that's just there for like 1 month.
Okay, yeah. Fair. I get it. So knowing what you know now, and based on the business breakdown and the team structure, what are your next steps? Where are you going to invest in? Are you going to try to grow the event business more? Are you going to try to do your online business more? Are you going to open the next shop? I just want to hear that thought process, based on your experience on like what's your next strategy.
I think that I've
because I assume you want to grow, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
So I think that this year was quite a bit of a turning point because I'm learning how to detach myself from the business because
stepping out of ops, then you can grow.
Yeah, because I always believe that I'm my greatest salesperson for the company, and in actuality, I'm the face of the company. But of course, we all have we go through things in life, right? And I kind of removed myself from the company in the sense the personal brand is not there anymore. So I stopped doing that. I think for about 1.5 years, I stopped doing a personal brand for the company. Like the company is the company. I do not link myself with the company. And then number 2 was just letting go of operations and making sure that the production team can do it without me. It takes a bit of time and also need to empower them to be more proactive and doing the things that, if you see something is missing and stuff like that, you just actively go and find it out and stuff like that. Yeah, then just teaching staff the customer service side. Because I feel like nowadays with new staff and everything, not everybody encompass the same amount of warmth that per se, I would say that Ahmahslegacy gives a certain level of warmth and nostalgia to whoever who's coming by. Give them the, wow, why you do this? And at the same time, it's there's a curiosity, but at the same time, there's also, oh, I would like to reminisce the past or maybe try something interesting. The people who help to sell need to have that same energy and warmth that same welcoming energy. And that takes time to develop also. Not everybody has that, especially nowadays in the digital age. Everybody's very closed off. Everybody's very like 自我, very self-centered. And it's very hard to find people who have that knack in customer service. So there's that. And of course, for me, growth-wise, I would like to get back into networking, get back into growing the business, and focus on the things that I feel will help improve the company. Like I've been lacking behind on the design for the company, certain things like collaterals and everything, things that I feel would definitely help improve the company, but it's just I didn't have the time. I don't have the time to develop that.
Okay, so there's no clear strategy in the sense that, okay, we're gonna double down on events, or we're gonna like our next phase of growth is doing this. Do you have a thought around there?
We have a big event that's coming on during Q3. I think it's the National Day. A lot of collaborations with big partners. So I think with that is already a step into the new field of like working with big names,
big boys. Huh?
Yeah, okay. And I think moving forward, I actually wanted, that was like a dream to work with hotels. So I would like to step into that more. And of course, that requires a lot more.
Yeah. So it sounds more like you want to do, in some ways, like more B2B, right? So I mean, you have a site. You're not planning to invest a lot more in the site. You have a shop. You're not looking to open up another shop. At least not in the next year or two.
Our lease ends next year.
Okay, so you gotta figure something.
I'm figuring out, because I would like to open a proper shop with like 7 days a week kind of situation, but I think my crew needs time to learn.
Of course. And there's a whole set of problems that come along with those.
And developing a proper menu for that, because to me, if I'm gonna double down, and I would say, stop the complaints of people trying to find me at basement and find a level 1 thing, the rental will be 3 times the price. And can I manage around that? Because it's a lot of adapting that needs to be done.
It's okay. I get it. And doubling down on B2B may not be a bad decision, right? To be fair, I've seen many people do that, right? So I think previously we had one of the guys from Dreamcore. He came on the show. They built PC, right? And they built PC for end customer, right? So the margins are competitive, right? End customer is very competitive, right? B2C. But they optimized their capabilities through that process. Then eventually they started making big bucks through the B2B process, where they built the things for, big companies and all that. And like those tickets are much better because the deal is much bigger. The same amount of effort goes into managing client, but the kind of deal size is bigger, and the business boomed from there. So I can kind of see, business owners, as we grow to a certain size, we take on a different form of business, but built on the capabilities that we built in the original part.
I think ideally we don't want to lose the touch with our customer base. The B2C is very important for us. And of course, I would like to build that on too, but customers are volatile. And with the potential, the recession situation or whatever that's going on now, I don't know whether people will actually spend on food. And I mean, we are, all of us F&Bs, we are so scared, because once people choose not to go out and get food, we are doomed. So that's why I would say a lot of us are looking towards B2B instead, because at least it's somewhat stable. We just need to chong and pitch ourselves the right way. Of course, events-wise, we are being a little bit more selective on the events, because there are a lot of people who are earning money through events in a very different way. So we are very cautious also. I'm very lucky that we have a choice now. We would select which events you want to work with.
Of course, you start somewhere. At some point, you get priority. I think you all can check out the episode we did with Dylan. He sells stickers, right? Make 100,000 a year. He made 100,000 last year selling stickers. I'm like, oh my God, Dylan, cool stuff, right? So, and he also said, like, when you first started doing all these booths pop up, right? You don't get the best spots, you don't get the best things. Eventually, you figure out what works, where it's good, and then you get reputable. People put you at the good stuff, So it's kind of like a whole process that goes about, right? So I would believe it's pretty much the same. You eventually know, these are people I want to work with, these are people I don't want to work with, and then you just kind of figure out.
Sometimes it's a good event, sometimes it's a bad event, and I think that just building proper relations with people. I feel like because I was always in the back end doing production, I didn't have a chance to have a good relationship with a lot of the people working with us. So, I mean, because this brand is very much tied to me, I feel like I have a lot of personal growth that needs to be done to help build along, let the company tag along rather than just focus on the company and just don't focus
I
on me.
totally agree.
Yeah.
And I think this is a part of founder growth that needs to happen, right? And sometimes founder-led sales are very powerful because you get direct feedback, right? I mean, like, as with every business owner, at some point you want to grow to a point where you're out of ops, you don't need to sell, other people will sell and all that, right? But then you're relying on the team to give you the feedback. Sometimes the feedback is not accurate, right? So I would say for most founders, you want to be, selling for longer, right? Try to be, on the field for longer so that you get more information, and stay relevant. I think that's very, 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 very important because the market will tell you what's happening.
Yes,
right?
I mean, clearly.
Yeah, client will feedback, tell you, hey, like that, cannot, like that. And sometimes the feedback get filtered through a few people. By the time it comes to you, right? So, okay, ma, right? Then you don't make the update, you lose out.
I mean, I'm very lucky my staff would like any kind of potential feedback. They're like, oh, Shiny, this happened. Then I said, and then if I'm just in the vicinity or I'm at the shop itself, I will go and I was like, check with the customer, understand why, and what are the things that we can improve. So, take for example, there were a few customers who said that our muati was not sweet enough. So the simple solution was, do we tweak the main recipe? But it's 1 out of 10. So when the numbers start to increase, I start to question, am I the problem? Yeah, then my staff would be like, hey, why not? What do you think about a sugar dispenser? Then I'm like, that is genius. Okay. Then I immediately go Shopee, go get a sugar dispenser and got a label done, put it there outside. And I will always tell customers like, hey, if you want to customize and make it sweet enough, please take a first bite. If you find that it's not sweet enough, we have a sugar dispenser outside. You can always customize and make it sweeter for your own. We kind of like have a baseline sweetness. If you find that you prefer sweeter, please go ahead. And people feel great. We can give them the option to customize.
Yeah. And you cater to the tail end of the people,
yes,
right?
Yes, because I don't want the bad feedback, and especially like, for example, now our yam paste is quite different. I mean, as you tasted, it was quite different from a traditional kind.
Yeah.
And
some people will be like, wow, it's not the taro that I want it to be, not the traditional kind, afterwards, like, we started to give people samples instead, because in the past, we didn't give samples for our oni. We just sell. Then we started getting a lot of like feedback that it's not what they wanted. It's not what they expected. Then I'm like, okay, now I give you the expectation already. Here, this is what you're going to take it.
You
taste
want
it.
not.
Yeah, you like it, you buy. You don't like it, you don't buy. Don't buy already, then you say, wow, I should have known. Then review give like bad. That I'm like, wow, 已經try了嗎?
Yeah. Such is the life of entrepreneur. Yeah. Not easy. Okay. I do want to understand a little bit about the B2B pitching. You were talking a little bit about it, right? So, how was it? What is the best practices that you would have when you are trying to like advise people to pitch a B2B product deal, like in the F&B space into a bigger outfit, maybe a big event or like a big corporate or like a big hotel, like what would the pitching process look like?
I think like importantly, a lot of them have a lot of prerequisites, hotels, big companies, they are all very ISO regulated and they have a lot of SOPs, right? So there's a lot of paperwork. And I think it's a good thing because for me, I didn't know there was so many paperwork. And I was like, wow, there's so many things that I can improve on. That's one. And to know your product in and out. Like if somebody asks, does this contain nuts? You cannot say, I don't know. You need to know every single thing that's inside. And most importantly, to understand your value. Because sometimes there are some businesses that they would just want to shortchange you. I mean, it's not saying that all businesses will, but there are some that will go, I worked with this company before. Why can't you make it cheaper for us? Or could you give us a special discounted rate since some other mass company has given us 25% off every month? And then we have to justify and make it known to them. To work with them, I feel like importantly, your collaterals, the details, and I think the information that they want, it's very obvious what they want in terms of information when they give you like the rules and regulations or the T and C's that they give. And after you view it the first time, you will know that when working with bigger companies, this is what they want. They want proper product lining. And if you're afraid that people would say the wrong things about your stuff, you give them a PR sheet in the sense of like, these are the product, this is what you should say, or what the flavor profiles are, so that like it's not like that they will just guesstimate and just kind of like throw in a random thing or ask ChatGPT to write something out of Ahmahslegacy or something like that, right? They already see your story, they know your story already, they already seen whatever that you have written out. You cannot say they never give. Yeah, I think importantly is you already have all the data and you already given. If people choose to omit it, then it's on them already.
Yeah. Fair. I think those are good advice, especially the part that a lot of big companies, they have their own requirements, right? And sometimes as a smaller outfit, you would think like, what kind of stupid requirement is this? But that is wrong, right? Objectively, that is wrong because they are buying, and more often than not, the person that you're liaising with has no control over these standards, right? The standard is set multiple layers above, right? So it is what it is. From a smaller outfit, it's more like, do you want to do this deal? If you want to do this deal, then these are the requirements. If you cannot meet the requirements, then you walk lah.
Yeah,
I would say that's
if you're willing to invest in expand your knowledge to help your business in the future, I think that's very important.
Okay, fair. Great. I think we had a good discussion. I really enjoyed the stories, the candor. I appreciate it. And I mean, that's kind of why I want to do this. Right? I want more entrepreneurs come in at different scale of the business to talk about, how they think, what's going on and all that, right? So maybe one last question is the recent home-based business. Like you started from home-based right? There's a whole debate and whole saga around like, home-based business are not regulated and they are making so much money, blah, 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 blah. There's that thing, right? I'm sure you're tuned in. And I have friends on all sides of the spectrum, right? On LinkedIn, I don't want to participate in the conversation, but I just thought since you're here, maybe share your position or your view on some of the things that people are talking about.
I would say it's good that there's this kind of things happening because honestly, as a F&B in a retail space, you are really clamped up by the rent. We are regulated. So therefore, there are a lot of things that needs to be purchased in certain proper things. And of course, suppliers will want to see a proper address, people want to see your food safety license, etc. We have opportunities that some F&Bs, home-based biz, don't get, which is to work with bigger companies. And, your house cannot be halal certified, right? Correct. But of course, there is also a benefit in home-based business. If, per se, you have your own BTO, you don't have to pay rent already, right? I mean, you do pay, but in your CPF. And then, if you have a helper, your helper now working for you, FOC, you don't need to pay for that. And that's why there's this like angst towards it because you have so much hidden help. So that's why you can cost it so much lower. I mean, when I was doing home-based biz, the price was like that because I didn't have to pay for a single thing. My parents allowed me to use the house. I paid, you do what I have to do. I paid for the ingredients. I didn't even pay myself. So that's why everything can be lower. But when we look at it as an organization, as like a proper business, a business means 要赚钱嘛, need to earn something, right? I feel like there shouldn't be any hate on either ways because if they ever choose to scale up,
then they run into the same problems.
They will run into the same problems. I face the same problems right now, and I mean I'm not shading on any of the home-based biz lah. I mean, if I had a chance to have my own house and home-based biz that way out, I'll be happy to do so. But it's just that I don't have the opportunity, and that's how it is. That's how it is. I mean, even if you stay HDB, I think it's even better because now you have like this whole come together party kind of vibes. I think that's nice also. A lot of the home-based biz now are like those landed properties they have the porch to just sit down and chill. I mean, if the people who own the house are happy to just support, I think that is good lah. I mean, you're lucky lah.
So you would just say it's a different lane, different set of problems.
Yeah.
Don't need to, because I think the discussion is like, should we regulate more? You know what I mean?
I mean.
So maybe we lay in a context, right? If today, when you first started, regulation was already very complicated to register a home-based business so that you can sell online, everything, right? So let's say we create a whole framework that is, tightly or similar or tight enough in a regulation similar to now your outfit. Do you think you will start?
I would start either ways, but it's just that there's a lot more work to be done. I mean, even when I was a home-based biz, I technically do not need to have a food safety license, but I still did it anyways. I would say that the regulations will be a little bit more strict, I would say, for those that are really going into mass scale. I mean, the main reason why they say that it's not regulated is because we don't have a big touch base in the first place. It's a good and bad thing lah. And I think it's a society perception. I feel like if a person want to compare this home-based biz versus a actual rental, like an actual SME or whatever, right, a business, and be like, wow, you know what, I buy from this home-based biz a lot better, cheaper, yeah. Then it's like, that's what pisses the people off. Because they do the same amount of work. It's just that they have bigger overheads. And you're blaming it on them. It's terrible. Yeah. And only people from the industry will know the amount of work and pain and amount of money that's required to spend on the things.
Yeah. I get it. I will not push you further on that. I don't want to hey, you cannot anything. No. Yeah. But the discussion continues. I think everybody has their own thoughts and points, but I think it's also a good opportunity to relook at this, like, commercial space rental, part also, because a big part of costing being very expensive is because you have to pay high rents, right?
Yes.
And then inevitably it gets translated down into, your customers, right? It's just what it is. Yeah, so something to think about lah.
Some support from government.
Yeah. So thank you. Appreciate your story. I hope you do well, keep in touch. And if our audience would like to connect with you, where is a good place?
You can connect with us at Ahmahslegacy, AHMAH Legacy. AHMAHS Legacy. Yeah. And that's on Instagram. You can drop us a text on WhatsApp also, or like just connect with us on our website. And if you ever just want to chit chat and talk about food, I'm almost at my shop every single day. So at Thomson V2, basement 3, please go the right lift, and it's the right place when there's the label Ahmahslegacy lah.
It is hard. It's hard to miss, just hard to find.
Yeah.
It's like when you find it,
just follow the tutorials. It's also on TikTok.
Okay, so hard these days, but yes. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed today's episode as I continue to uncover more founder stories and share business insights. If you are a founder of a business and you think that you have some things worth sharing, you can always email to me, hello@thefinancialcoconut.com, or you put in the comment section. We'll try to reach out. Meanwhile, for all of you that are tuning in regularly and you want to stay in touch, go to thefinancialcoconut.com to put your email address so that we can route out the algo and reach you straight away, when there are new episodes or new events or new things happening at TFC. So yeah, with that, thank you. I'll see you at the next episode of TFC Business Show. Bye-bye.